Boop, 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 boop. Hello everybody, welcome back to Xucaboa 5.0, 100% Vanilla Baby, episode number 8. We'll load up our last game here, and as always, like to say thank you, gracias, obrigado, to my new subscribers, the Big Q57, Mark Walpole, and Opie, or Oppie20. If you want something in the next episode named after you, and you're watching this, make sure you leave a comment and subscribe, and I will do my best to make sure you get something pretty cool. Alright, so let's look at some of the areas we can work on. We got the Future Park, we got the I Don't Know We'll See, we got this forest, we got south of the river, got this empty area in Farmington, and we've got the old industrial area. But before we even do any of that, last episode I was talking about getting rid of the coal power plants and putting in a geothermal. So we'll look over here. I'd like the noise pollution radius to fit right inside of this kind of square that I already have made. So we'll put a street here, and it should fit quite nicely just like that. We'll put 2, and that'll keep us good for quite some time. We'll line up our power lines there so it looks as nice as it can as a vanilla power plant. All right, the geothermal plant actually does look quite nice, but the power lines, they're never quite right. What we're going to do here, we're going to set a citywide planning policy of filtering industrial waste. We're going to move our wastewater treatment over towards the landfill area, and this way our ground pollution around this industrial area and also where the coal power plants were should start to really diminish. All right, with this filter industrial waste policy, it reduces ground pollution in industrial places a lot, but it doesn't completely eliminate it. I'd say, I don't know what the exact percentage is, but it's like 80% or 90%. It's almost totally gone unless you put a huge cluster of industrial together, which, as you know, I don't like to do. I think our first major development here we're going to do in Farmington. We're going to spread out this Euro suburb, which I haven't named yet anything of meaning, but with the Europe suburbia theme buildings. We're going to put them in this area. But first we want to have kind of like a town center area. And I think we'll use this little plaza. Looks kind of like a place where you might see farmers from this very agricultural area come to set up some of their farmers market type stuff. We'll connect that road there, making a Y junction. We'll ban heavy traffic in this whole area, so this way none of the farming industrial traffic comes through our residential. I'm thinking about some other park here, and I really like this riding stable, but it's huge. I don't want it to take up the whole area, so we will not be using that now, although I think it would look really good next to Jorge's cow pasture. But we'll put in another farm just right here in the corner, another field. It's wheat already, so that's perfect. And we'll name this will be our first named object. We'll name this the Big Q57 Wheat Farm. I think that's nice. Now we'll do what we always do, which is start decorating just the borders of it a little bit. I think we'll use the dirt paths like always, the gravel paths, and attach all that. There we go. We're not going to get too crazy with detailing, but we want to kind of make sure we have enough space in the future to do heavy detailing. That'll be in one of those time-lapse episodes that I do maybe in episode 10 or 11 or something like that. Let's take a look at our noise pollution here. You see the farms and fields themselves don't really make any pollution of any kind, noise or ground. But the silos, the small industrial areas, things like that, they do. So we gotta make sure that our residential doesn't get too close to it. But we're gonna start building this new neighborhood, this little Farmington village. Now what we've done, we've set the commercial for this area to be the Green Cities commercial zone. I forget exactly what it's called, but the one that's like farmers markets and things like that. So we'll extend the borders there to make sure that all the commercial is covered. We'll drag our pipes out here. Start setting up our little town. Around this plaza, I think is going to be the only thing I'm going to have as a square, because the plaza itself is square. But even that, I don't think it's perfectly 90 degrees. I don't care too much. That's fine. Just fine by me. Put in a couple of trees and bushes to fill in those gaps. And we'll start setting up our street pattern. I want these to be organic streets. I want them to logically continue from the street pattern that already exists over in the Euro suburb. But I have a much different idea for what I'm going to do in these blocks. I want very, very small parcels of zoning. So like 1 by 1, 1 by 2. I don't want any 2 by anything. I don't want any 2 by, any 3 by, any 4 by, none of that. We're gonna have just 1 by 1 or 1 by 2 low density residential. And with the European suburbia theme, those buildings will all kind of look the same, but they'll look cool together. They have a unique style, and I think it fits in for a farming area. I think it'll be nice. So here I'm just kind of experimenting with what will work best. I think these are pretty good. You see, none of them are bigger than there. We'll do a 1 by 3 right there. I think it's fine because it's still 1 by. When I say 1 by 1, 1 by 2, I mean the size of the squares. And you always, the game refers to them, resources refer to them, references refer to them. Starting as 1 tile on the street is the 1. If there's 2 tiles on the street, that's 2. And then by is how far back they go away from the street. So that's what I mean when I say that. The commercial we can do a little bit bigger. And you see right now our commercial demand is up higher than our residential and industrial, which is fine. Starting to get a little bit of traffic over in the farm here, over in RAMG's corn farm. So we'll put one of those asymmetrical 3 lanes to let traffic out, and we'll continue zoning our residential. This is a bit of a tedious process. As you can see, you have to wait for something to grow and then fill in the space between it. Otherwise, if you zone everything all at once, you'll get much larger size pieces of property growing. Here you see I'm connecting some of the paths. Make sure that all the people that live in this area can walk right to the farm instead of having to go all the way around. You see the ring road, SKYLINE Boulevard, that is only connected at a few junctions, has very few intersections. So if anyone couldn't just walk across the field to get to the farm, they would have to go all the way around town to get to the other side. Makes no sense. You see these houses starting to grow in, these 1 bys? Got kind of a cool vibe. Now this is still at level 1. Once they start to level up, they'll look a little bit nicer. I think there's a little bit more trees that come with them, but still the same kind of idea. A little red roof, small house, 1 family residence. Yeah, it just takes some time. Just gotta fill it in. Our demand bars are starting to equalize again. That's good. That's what we want. our cemetery on the other side of town is not yet full, but it will be. And we will not have access to a crematorium for a long time. So we need to think about cemetery number 2. I just saw a body waiting for transport over there, which is what made me think of it. And I think in our farm village, that's a perfect area. Right? We don't just plant crops, we plant people too. So there we go, a nice little cemetery across from our residential area. We'll add a couple of bushes and trees and things to fill in the gap. I'm gonna be honest, this episode, filming it was hard for me. Not because anything I do is really hard. I just filmed it like 6 times. And this is the final cut that made it. And the reason for that is it's kind of boring. There's no way for me to really do anything crazy until I get to the next milestone. And to get to the next milestone, if I play as fast as I can, without any regard for what it looks like for you to watch this, it still takes me about an hour and a half. So I'm not going to go till the next milestone this episode. I am going to just work on Farmington Village here, make it nice, but you'll see something is going to happen. It's very dramatic, and it really throws a wrench in the plans. I thought I was going to have to start this episode over, but I don't, because I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna see what I can do, and it works out in the end. All right, around the cemetery, I just put those huge trees. These are some of the biggest trees, and I really like them, but they're so big that I think if you put them all together, it looks a little strange. See what I mean? I'm watching my residential drop, and it's just very slow. But now I've got a warning, a disaster warning, just popped across my screen. Where is it? A tornado is coming. Evacuate the citizens. I have nowhere to evacuate them to yet. And oh, look at that. Ay caramba. That is a twister if ever I saw one. I remember watching the movie. I think this is a category 5. I don't know for sure, but it's definitely coming right through the city here. Night has fallen, so it's dark. You can't even see the tornado. These people are walking right next to it. Watch out. Get out of the way. Oh, this is brutal. This is brutal. It just swept by the canal, just missing it. It's going across Scroggins Highway into the burnt hot dog industrial zone, completely destroying the entire industry zone. This is some yikes on bikes right now. This is serious. Everyone in its path is being... Look at all those cars getting sucked up into it. Oh, no. There. It's over. It's ended. Our population... I think about 100 people died. It's a real tragedy here. So we've got to start the difficult process of rebuilding. Our street network first will do. To repair them, all I need to do is use the upgrade street tool. It doesn't matter which street I have selected. I just have to choose one that is destroyed, and it will repair itself. But all of our industry zone there is completely destroyed. It's gone. And this small section of residential area here, this is probably where the most fatalities were. Really a tragedy. I am thinking in the future I'm going to have to build a memorial park for those who were lost in the tornado of 2030. this area too. Here we're just going to start cleaning up the rubble. And this really could not have come at a worse time from a city management perspective, because look at the demand bars right now. My industrial is huge, my residential is nothing. So what just happened? I just lost my entire industry area. Now I've got a house on fire. Got a police car casually driving away, being like, oh, I didn't see it. Got another one speeding by. Here's the Abu Volunteer Fire Department. About time. There we go. It's a real mess. A real mess. We're gonna start cleaning up this. I think we're just gonna delete it, because I was gonna do that eventually, but at a time when things were stable. You know, you gotta de-zone this area piece by piece, so that way your demand bars don't go crazy, you don't have massive unemployment waves or any bad demand situations. But now it's just all gone. Mother Nature wiped it out. I'm just going to de-zone this whole area. We're not going to build there right now. What I'm going to do here is just kind of start to think about getting some. I need some industrial is what I need, so we got to get it in there. Not only did 100 people lose their lives, but who knows how many lost their jobs too. So we've got to do the best we can to make sure that the economic damage to these people is as small as possible by getting them their jobs back. Bringing the industry back to the hot dog sector. Now I'm tempted just to zone the whole thing industrial, but I need, or what I wanted, to de-zone the area of industrial and do very sparse industrial. So I'm going to try to spread the industry around into the farm area, into some other areas. Right next to the flour mill here, right next to Williams Flour Mill, we'll put in, that's a nice building actually, that fits in quite nicely. We'll make that historic. Oh, we've got a burning bush. How biblical. Oh, now we've got a serious fire right on the hill. Our hot dogs are burning again, so we're going to call this Burnt Hot Dogs 2. Burn harder. We're just having one string of misfortune after another here. Luckily, that didn't seem to destroy any property, though, just the bushes. We can, they'll grow back. That's not a real crisis, you know. But still, very dramatic. Very dramatic. What is going on here? Oh, now this is, oh, that's just terrible. We got a fire right in front of the cemetery. These people were supposed to rest in peace. Now it looks like they're resting in hell. It's hellish, that scene. It's terrible. We need to do something. Our firefighting capabilities are just able to put out building fires on the street. We need some helicopters. I'm putting in a helicopter depot. They're going to go right into the basin. Look at this. It's actually pretty cool looking. I'm going to take a screenshot. There we go. That's cool. All right, continue. They're going to put out the fire, and bingo. Phew, that was close. Let's hope there's no more drama. But the last several minutes have been quite dramatic. I think you'll agree. We still have a huge demand for industrial. We need to start putting things everywhere that we can, but it's going to be tricky. I don't want too much industrial all in one area. Got to spread it around. So we'll add a little bit and see how the demand bars adjust. Not the most exciting thing to watch. I apologize if you were hoping that this would be some kind of crazy action-packed zoning situation. I mean, I guess with the tornado it kind of was. You can make a movie out of it. Zoning, the movie. Burnt Hot Dogs 2. Burn Harder. That'll be the name of our zoning movie. I think here I'm going to add some more farms. I wasn't really thinking about doing that, but we'll do it this time. We'll make this a cotton farm, and this will be our second name thing. We'll name this the Mark W. Cotton Field. There we go. Start making some t-shirts. Then here we'll make this, let's make this potatoes, and let's name this the Ep08 Potato Farm. Is it Oppie or is it Opie? You gotta let me know in the comments. Because I feel like either of them looks like it could be right. My sister, she has a cat named Opie, but I think she spells it with one P, so I don't know. Our residential is still very low. But let's add another street into our Farmington village here. And just carefully zone. We don't need those power lines anymore. We can start putting in some industry here. I don't want to get too attached. Oh, look at that. It's a futuristic looking juice factory, the juice press. Yeah, I don't want to get too attached to these buildings because I don't think they're going to stay. But I got to get industry in here. Usually, I'm so good about keeping my demand bars almost all of them at 50% all the time. So this has been a real challenge for me. Look at these houses. See, they're all starting to level up. They kind of look the same, but in a way that I think is okay. It looks like a very deliberate architectural choice. Here we'll start doing a few bigger plots. I think will be a good touch. Because if you have those little houses everywhere, then it's kind of... I like that field. Only because it has the fence. Otherwise, that grass, that radioactive green grass, I don't like it. Oh, here's another juice press. This time it's called the Baconry, and I don't like that, so we'll see what else we get. Beefcakes. That's another futuristic looking building, but we'll keep it for now. That's the only one we have. I'll allow it. This industrial demand is just not going down. It's driving me crazy here. Traffic is still okay, but I'm gonna upgrade some of these streets because we're having so much industry here. There's gonna be a lot more trucks than there were before. A little bit of crime going on. So I think in our new residential area, we'll put a police station on this side of town. Right there. I think it's a nice spot. We'll use that European style police station. I think it fits decently in with the rural assets. More than the other police station. Looks kind kind of flashy, kind of robotic almost. Alright. Healthy weeds I like. The baconry, we'll just live with that for now. Here I realized I put in the 2 different types of fence over at the Xucaboa's orange groves. So, you know what? Let's make a path that connects so people can get to the orange groves. And wow, people are taking it right away. Looks like that was a necessary walkway. Our education is looking good. We don't need any more schools or anything. But because we have so much industry now, I think I wouldn't even want people going to school. I'd probably add the schools out policy to a district just to keep people from going to higher education and going right to the workforce. Could you imagine, though, living in a place that had that policy? It's like you live in this town, so you can't go to college. It just seems wrong. But I guess for the game, it makes it useful. This way you can, I don't know, pretend that some area is low income and that nobody there goes to college. I don't know. It seems, the more I think about it, the worse it seems. It's just not right. Starting to think about some ideas for the memorial, but I don't think we're gonna do that now. Uh-oh. We're out of water and sewage. So instead of adding a water pump, I think I'm going to add a water tower. Because that always reminds me of a farm village, and we just built one. So we'll do that. We'll throw in an eco water treatment center. And hopefully it'll cause a little bit less pollution. I think it's half as efficient, though. It doesn't... it only processes half the stuff. I think now that I've added this water tower, our pump does not suck up as much water, so we need to put a water outlet for the extra. And where do we want to put it? I don't know, let's put it there. It's upstream, but I'm just curious. This had not occurred to me, dude, that every time I add a new water source, that pump will suck up less water and therefore cause flooding in our canal area. We cannot afford flooding. This is going to be a residential neighborhood. A bit risky for me to put it so close to the water, but I thought it'll be under control, unless there's a real natural disaster or something. Let's turn it off and see what happens. So now nothing's happening. Maybe it was just something that had to work itself out. Or maybe not, because the flooding's back. So let's put it downstream of the canal, so we're not pumping the water right back into it. Throw in a temporary power line, call it a day. Yeah, working with the water close to the canal, it's tricky. All right, maybe I got a little crazy that episode, and I'm like, everything will be all right, but I'm gonna have to be very thoughtful about my water supply in the future. Just watching how that happened. That played out a little crazy. All right, our residential is starting to crawl back towards the middle. I like that. That's what I want to see. I don't think we need this power line anymore. Connected across the highway by proximity. Oh, we got a fire. We got a fire on Oh, the helicopter came and put it out. That's great. That was fast. Alright, so I could continue to try to get another 1,000 population to get to the next milestone, but I don't think anybody wants that this episode. We'll do that next episode. Let's just take a quick look around before the sun comes up, make sure nothing is going horribly wrong, and I think we're going to call it a day. Let's head to the cinematics. So, let me know what you think about this episode in the comments. I know it was a little bit slow, I sped it up, not too much city building of excitement happened. Maybe that, I don't know, what did you think about that little residential area in Farmington Village? Tell me what you thought about that. I know there was some natural disaster going on. There was a tornado, there was fires, so that was pretty exciting, but not really productive for our city. And in fact, it was a bit of a setback with our industrial area getting completely wiped out. But those things happen in cities. You gotta be prepared. I have everything turned on. Everything that can happen will happen. So, as always, I'd just like to say thank you again for watching Xucaboa 5.0, 100% vanilla baby. This was episode number 8, and I will see you next time.